Yep.
Yeah, I'm good now. Let's do it.
Alright, so a little different than what I usually do because usually I come on here and stream games. A lot of ground to cover. Really, it's been building up for quite. First things first, I just wanted to point out to the people that maybe like the one or two people that tune into this live, because it's probably just gonna be like two people, but who gives a shit? I just want to say along the lines of first things first, have you guys had to ever deal with work issues?
Like asking if they breathe.
Have they been so serious to the point where you've wanted to quit on numerous occasions?
It's like
No.
asking if they breathe.
Well, like, just name one example.
Do you want me to get? Do you remember the meme of Chris Jericho holding the list that goes halfway across the fucking canvas?
Yes.
In 6 months alone of working at a restaurant, I can give you at least that amount of like reasons why I've wanted to quit my job.
Well, give me a reason in particular of what really made you want to just quit.
I'm underpaid for how much I work.
Oh, that's going to be a factor in mine. Don't worry, we'll get to that.
I work 5, 6 days a week, and I get paid $9 an hour.
It's
So
crazy.
basically, slave hours, my guy, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, I think people will try to call me racist if I say it. So,
I mean,
'cause 2022 cancel culture.
I got a text
Mm.
from one
Say
of my
one thing they don't
coworkers.
like, and then you're racist.
I got a text from one of my coworkers, and he said something along the lines of, "Lando, the restaurant's name, because I'm not going to be name dropping here in case there is indeed a way for me to get sued." So, because this could get back to them, because I know there's some people out there be like, "Oh, he said this about you. Go fuck yourselves."
I'm gonna do it out of spite.
But he said that I was the restaurant's slave, basically. And guess what? As much as I wanted to tell him to straight up eat shit, he's not wrong. For the year and a half that I worked there, I've been put through so much fucking hell, mentally and physically. But we're gonna get back into that later because I want to talk with you guys first about what you've dealt with before I dive like head first into what I gotta say.
Where do you want me to start? You've already heard half of my complaints about my job.
Just put the complaints out there that you want to be like heard out there.
I mean, again, I'm underpaid for how much I work. I work my ass off and don't complain at all. I'm respectful to everybody, do my job correctly, make sure everything's done properly. And I have people that don't deserve, like, I'll put it flat out there, that don't deserve to get paid more than me, get paid more than me.
Oh yeah.
And, like, I always hear the same thing of, oh, insert name here worked longer than you. To hell with how long they've worked there. That doesn't mean that they do their job good, let alone have a good work morale.
I've been there
If I had
myself.
a, if I had $1 for every single time my one coworker talked shit about me or another coworker under his breath, or sat there and bitched and moaned the entire night, especially near close because he wasn't getting his way, and the kitchen wasn't operating on his time, and that he wasn't getting to leave when he wanted to leave, I'd have enough money to pay off the fucking phone I'm setting up right now. That thing cost $1,000.
Wait, Ray, why'd you leave? He joined.
Oh, my bad, bro. I went to play 2K. I gotta get to work on my glass
I
cleaning
mean,
shit
hell,
and
if you
shit.
want to play 2K, I'll get on God of War. I don't care.
That's fine. But no, man. This is why I stopped working like service, like fast food, restaurant working.
Yeah.
Bro, they do not appreciate their people at all. They will never appreciate their people. So I just gave up, man. I gave up trying to do that type of work. So, and now, bro, This is your sign to go out and do something different.
Right. And I'm gonna establish this before I even dive into what I gotta say. After this job, I will never ever go to fast food ever again unless I'm really desperate. Which, trust me, that could hit me in a lot of ways. We can say that, oh, we're not going back to a place, and then like you look at everything, and that's the only place you can go back to.
I
So,
mean, you could become a
Which is
prostitute.
I mean, you could, but I don't think that's for me.
other fast food places
Never
are
know. Shit.
some other fast food places are okay, but it's the ones that try to slave you, my guy. It's the ones that try to work you to death.
Yeah. The problem is, I understand why I work so much with my work staff. Literally, they
I hate
posted
those
that
two
both
words.
in in both locations, because there's two locations for where I work. One about 10 minutes away from where I live, and one about 20. They both need people in every position because people are going back to school and slash or they have such a high like they need a higher pay that they just cannot give. Like
Right,
again, just the phone that is in my hand, the iPhone 13 Pro Max alone is 2.5 of my paychecks. Like just going to get groceries in general cost me almost $100 fucking. That's a
right.
third of my paycheck right there, just in groceries alone. That's not even counting my phone bill. That's going to be $100 next month. Not counting if I want to go out and do shit, probably going to be $50, $60. My meals every day, like each day I work, that's anywhere between $10 to $15 a day. Like, people need to realize that, like, shit is getting more expensive and it isn't going to get any better unless something changes, which we all know. Well, I'm not trying to get political with this, but we all know it's not going to fucking change.
Because that's the way that they do their business. And they're not going to change it unless they absolutely need to change it.
Right.
Now,
Like
Jonathan,
today is
TJ,
literally my only day off this week.
oh,
Of the actual
damn,
schedule.
damn. You guys have any issues or frustrations you've had with work in the past?
My first job, like it was in the
Anything?
swimsuit. My first job was fucking basically dry cleaning, like
Right.
washing clothes. And let me tell you, that shit was so hot in there. That fan on, and that did not help.
I fucking feel that on a spiritual level.
So do I.
Working in a kitchen that has a broken AC is the biggest hell you will ever meet.
Wow. I just got disconnected from my server. Great.
Uh, Another thing is you have to dry like the shit too. So there's like a machine that they had. It was like a conveyor belt, and you had to like put like fucking um pillowcases and shit up there. That
Yeah.
shit was hot too, so that was making it extra hot. Then, not to mention, I'm working at fucking like what 9 a.m. in a hot ass environment. Like, bro,
That is, oh, I would want to rip my
That's
hair out.
hell. You want to tell them why they fired you?
because I was fucking tired. She asked me if I was tired, and I said yes. And this was like what the first week.
I would have quit.
And she didn't even come to me about it. She came to my sister and said, "Tell your brother he's no longer needed here." I'm like, "All right, dickhead." So.
It's
I love
fucking
my new
crazy to
job.
me.
It's much, easier,
It's fucking crazy to me how jobs honestly do their shit. But
The
Jonathan,
thing that, or yeah, go ahead, with Johnson.
Mm.
you've had any issues with working in your past?
Not really, but I had issues like applying for jobs.
Oh wow.
Like this one time I signed up for something called Summer Youth. Like like 4 years ago. It's basically like getting paid while learning how to work, right? So I'm like, oh shit, cool, all right, signed up. By the way, like it was a bunch of teenagers doing it, right? So we had to go into this building at this like certain time. But what I'm telling you, the line for so long, it went past like 2 blocks. Right, the fucking line was so long. I had to wait under like 90 degrees, like for 5 hours. Then when I got there, they said it was too late. I can't go in and apply. I'm like, fuck you. All right, I'll apply another day. Come back like 2 3 days later. Fucking I went to the building, did everything I needed to do, put in my card, yada yada yada, right? And then the like a week later, I come back to the workplace and they were like, you're missing this one specific information in the form. And I'm like, what do you mean? I put it in. They were like, no, you didn't. So after that, they said I couldn't work because I apparently missed the information, well, which I put in the application. So I couldn't work there.
Yeah, like I said, bro, when it comes to that shit, it's annoying as fuck. Now you were saying something else real quick.
I'm trying to remember what I was gonna say. I think the one thing that like just now I'm just trying to like replace something with what I was originally thinking because I can't remember what I was originally thinking. Um, the one thing that really bothers me about my job is the factor of again being overworked, but not in just the factor of like, oh, I'm overworked, they make me work 6 days a week. Like, I'm overworked in terms of like how much I push myself, and that's more of on me, like in that term. But also, my work needs to understand where I draw the line. Like, if I were to tell you how much shit I have wrong with, or probably have wrong with me mentally, I would probably have a fucking bucket list. But like I've gone into work, I have had panic attacks due to anger, I've had anxiety attacks. I have gone in with my like I've gone in on so many bad occasions where like I shouldn't have gone in for mental or physical states. And I'm like, and all I get is a, oh, thank you for not complaining. Like yeah, I don't complain because I always say this. If I went there to complain, I would just go to therapy. Like that shit just doesn't, make sense to me. Where it's like my first job just to go there bitch and moan just because I'm not getting my way.
Right.
Like that just doesn't compute to me.
Now,
Sorry, I'm like I said, I'm just still setting
I'll,
stuff
I'll
up
go
on the
right
side.
ahead. I invite anyone to talk about their work issues because this is exactly what this stream is for. But quite frankly, getting into this, if no one else has anything to say, the first time, or I just want to say this for the record, I am absolutely grateful that I was given a job in the first place. I'm absolutely grateful for the fact that every place is hiring in town now. Ever since COVID hit, every place is so understaffed and they need workers. So I'm extremely grateful. I
You're
was even
thankful that they're understaffed.
at the time I was.
Oh,
So they
no, I'm just
hire
fucking with you. It sounds funny saying like, "Oh, I'm thankful you don't have enough
imagine,
staff to
yeah.
fucking operate."
But literally, all right, so they bring me in. I was extremely grateful that I was even given a job in the first place because there was a possibility I thought in my head that they wouldn't hire me, but they hire anybody. I learned a lot there. I've met my current girlfriend now at the time, like at my work.
Simp.
So, with all of that being said, now let's bury this fucking company to smithereens. So, when I first fucking started, they had me doing like 4 to 9s, 4 to 8s, and whatever. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I miss those days. The reason being is because I had people that were willing to stay there, that were willing to close, that were willing to put in so much work that I didn't have to worry about shit. Because I'm not a closing person. I'm sorry, I'm not. I've never been, I never will be. Like my next job, if they ask me to close, it's gonna be a really it's a really struggling process for me to close. I'm not a closing person. I'm not even a day shift person, like a morning person, but I'll damn sure go in a day shift more than a night shift.
Right.
Now, I first started there, I was so clueless about what to do. Like as anyone would be in a job. And I found out something interesting a couple weeks ago, which no one actually came to me and told me about this. When I first started, they didn't even think I was going to survive a month.
I mean, my friend straight up told me he thought I was gonna quit within a week.
I literally, like, I knew a lot of people around me were probably like, yeah, he's a bad worker and whatever. But I was thinking to myself, listen, you probably were the same way when you started, so you got to give me a fucking break. And yeah, I wasn't the best worker when I started out, absolutely, but that's self-explanatory right then and there. I mean, I was doing floors. I put like degreaser on the floor and I swept it up with a broom because I'm slow-minded at times. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I didn't know I was supposed to use a
Right.
scrubber and a squeegee. Because again, that's my first job. Never worked anywhere else. The only job that I really worked besides this, and I don't even count as a job because it was the worst place I've ever worked at so far. I worked at a fucking farm
Mm.
in the middle of fall because that's when pumpkin patches were like beginning to like gain traction again because it's the fall season, of course. They literally told me, "Okay, we need you to go out and spray a wheelbarrow." Okay, I'll do that. Where's the water hose? Oh, you gotta figure that out on your own. Okay.
I love that. Where's the hose?
I go and try to look for the water hose. I see a hose. The little nozzle's not even on the damn thing.
Please tell me you had to do it with like a fucking wrench or something like that.
Uh-uh. You know what I did? I looked
What?
back. They weren't looking at me, so I just got all the cobwebs out and whatever, made it look passable, and I just brought it back over there. I didn't give a
Oh my
shit.
god, that is what I do with some things at work. Cause like, okay, I'm going to. This will sound controversial for a dishwasher, but I need you to hear me out. So like a big fucking pot, right? Like if I had to give an estimation on the size, it'd be about the height of a toddler, right?
Right.
What would you prefer be more clean? Like if you only could pick one, the outside of it or the inside of
The
it?
inside of it, hands down, 100%.
Exactly, because that's where shit's being made.
Exactly.
The place I work has gotten really pissed sometimes at the factor of like, oh, there's like, I would say if you make like a tiny circle, like as if you're trying to make, you know how you put the finger in the hole, like joke, like make that but smaller of red sauce on there, like tomato sauce, and I'm like, okay, you could wipe it off with your fucking finger, like it wasn't stuck there. I literally showed
Wipe
them,
it
like,
off with
hey,
a paper towel.
exactly. And I'm like, I was like, the inside of it is clean. That's that's the moneymaker.
Unless
That's
the
what
outside
makes
was
the
really
shit.
messy. Like, that's the thing.
No, no, like only a little bit, just like that tiny little bit of red sauce, that or like a little bit of water, or like something like that. And I'm like, the inside is what matters. That's where the shit's being made. Like,
Yeah.
fuck.
And the thing is, it's like, speaking of dishwashing, though, we'll get into
I
another
hate
point.
dishwashing.
We'll get into a point in a little bit because this still pisses me off to this day, even though I'm cool with the man. So, I'll tell you this, though, like, they put a high expectation on you to, like, not leave after a week or after a month because they want to milk whatever usage that they have of you completely out of you until you're completely dried up and you have nothing to give anymore. That's the best way I can describe what's happened with me at this job. My first, like, few months there go by, whatever. Same old shit, I'm doing earlies, whatever. I'm not even near line yet. Like, I'm not even on the drive-through line or the dine-in line. I'm not doing any of that shit. I'm not making any of the food. All I'm doing is making chicken or making toast or dropping fries or shit like that. That's all I'm doing.
I'm trying to remember what. Sorry, like I'm thinking out loud, aka asking the iPhone people.
Yeah.
It was completely off topic. Where do you? Or no, never mind. I found it. I think. No, I don't know.
But they have me
Where
doing
do you
all this
go to
shit.
set up a phone password? I'm like a
Wow.
fucking tard whenever it comes to this shit.
That would be in settings. But
Where at?
it should tell you. I think there should like a security option. I don't know. I've really had to never worry about that. They just gave me a passcode and like, oh, what do you want your passcode to be? Oh, this. All right, you're good. But they started me off doing all this shit. I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is the easiest thing in the world. But quite frankly, it's like, I want to do more. I should have never
Right.
said that to myself. Ever. Because the second that they even heard I mention the word, I want to do more, then that's when they started milking every usage out of me that they could. Then, alright, so, first bit of controversy I've ever seen in my life. And this completely changed my perception of fast food. I'm in a shift. I think it was like after a week of being there, maybe 2 weeks. This fucking guy on drive-thru, he sent a half-eating sandwich, like a half-eaten sandwich that he was eating. He sent that out to the drive-thru, gave it to like one of the people up front, and she gave it out to the customer through the drive-thru.
I cannot. I'm sorry. I already know where you're going. You're gonna say that's fucked, but I cannot imagine that person's fucking reaction. Just like, you know, if that fuck wanted some num nums, I would have just paid for the fucking meal for him.
That was a fucking lawsuit and a half waiting, but
Did you guys actually get sued?
I don't think we ever got sued because I think if we honestly got sued,
'Cause,
we
like,
wouldn't have been
that's
able to work.
Yeah, that's like a lot of either that or the person
A
surely
massive
got fired.
refund.
That's
A massive refund.
No. I'm talking the employee because that's like a massive
Oh,
violation.
You want to know
for
something
some.
that's really interesting?
Did he
He
not get in
he
trouble
didn't
at
get
all?
fired. He quit within a year later. He was a no call, no show.
Just like the anniversary of when he bit into that fucking sandwich.
Not-
Hey, you remember when I bit into that sandwich?
I don't
quit?
think it was the exact anniversary, but I think it was around that time. So,
Dude, I think this was you. Yeah. You're the one that sent me the fucking clip of the one dude quitting, right?
we'll get into that later.
Oh my god, that shit was. Yeah, go ahead.
But even then,
I'll-
like
I'll
that just
discuss
goes
that
to
next time we get
show
there.
you the trauma these people go through. But all right, so
Who, the workers or the employees?
the we're fucking workers, hands down. But so a few months go by, not really much controversy, but then came this night, which I remember really fondly because this was the night that CM Punk came back to wrestling. I'm a nerd, I know. On this night, because that's when Rampage, I think it was the second Rampage that they were doing.
Yeah, because the first one I was gonna go to, but I had
The first one was
work
Christian
that
versus
day.
Kenny, right?
Yeah, that one was in Pittsburgh. I was gonna go to, so I went to that Dynamite, and I wanted to go to that Rampage, but it was like and this is just a little side rant. It'll be pretty short. It's just like with my work, if you need, like, say for example, Landon, say,
Mhm.
oh, you're my boss. I need Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday off. Sometimes it's fucking pick one. Either Tuesday, Thursday, or Sunday. You can only have one. That's how it was for me. So it was either I go to Dynamite or I go to Rampage.
Of course, you're gonna
So
pick Dynamite.
Yeah, so I just went and picked Dynamite. Either way, I got to see Kenny Omega compete, so I can't complain. The only thing I didn't see was Christian winning the world.
Wasn't that
Impact World
Dynamite the
Championship.
one where Kenny and the Butts fought Dante Martin and a bunch of other people?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I
Which
remember
seemed
that. Yeah,
I think it was Dante Martin, his Darius Martin, his brother. Either that's why he was still out with an ACL tear. And one other
Matt
person.
Sydal, wasn't he in there?
Yeah, Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. It was Matt Sydal, his brother, and Dante Martin.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Because whenever Matt Sydal and his brother came out, like I couldn't have been I'll be honest, I didn't care about Matt Sydal's brother.
Well, you only care about Evan Bourne, everybody, but
Dude, his theme was such a fucking bop.
it was. But sidetrack though, because we just started talking about wrestling because we're nerds like that. I remember this night because this is the night
I
that...
can get back into Norse mythology.
No, fuck that. So
yeah, for people who's watching and have no idea what I'm talking about, I pretty much gave this dude a fucking aneurysm talking about Norse mythology.
I'd rather forget, but so I remember this night because there was the rumors that like, oh, CM Punk's coming back to wrestling, and me being the typical wrestling fan, I didn't believe he was coming back. I thought he was just gonna stay at home, work on his show at Heels. I thought he was gonna be on his comic book stuff that he was doing.
That show is so good.
I didn't think he was coming back at all. Even with the teasers, I thought, oh, he's just working the fans. There's no way he's coming back. Spoiler alert, he came back. But before that, I just got
injured twice in the span of 3 months.
Almost a year later, but I was at school, and then I had to go in for an early shift. I'm like, oh, fuck. Go into my early shift, and I'm working with, like, 2 of my best friends. So it's like, oh, this is going to be a really fun night, right? Well, but my manager at the time, I think she's the coolest manager I've had there. She was really pissy that night, like really pissy.
Whenever the nice manager is pissy, that's when you know somebody fucked up.
Yeah, and here's the issue though that I had when it came to play. So me and this one guy, we're just like, chilling, talking about like, oh, what's going on in your life? Oh, hey, whatever. I'm making like these tiny buns because they have like a platter going out, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm making the food, and she just starts yelling, like, if I don't see these sandwiches working, someone's gonna walk out here without a job! Referring to me. And I'm just thinking to myself, why the fuck would I, get fired when I'm the one doing my job while also talking to a friend of mine? Because one thing positive I could say about that place, it made me a really good multitasker. Because I can do 2 things at once now.
It made me a worse multitasker.
Damn. But
I used literally, right now, as you can tell, I'm semi losing my attention span every now and then. I swear to God, my job has kicked the ADHD of mine right in the fucking face. Because right now, if I didn't have my job, if this was like a year ago, I would be able to be playing my console, looking at my phone, working on my iPad, writing my fucking little fan story, and I think I already said this, and this is proving the point, and talking to you all at the same time and remember everything very vividly.
right.
But now it's just like I can barely even set up my fucking phone.
I mean, I'll tell you that right now. I was the complete worst multitasker in the world before I got my job, so I'm with you on that somewhat. But going back to this, she gets really pissed at me because I was talking to someone while also making her food, but she wanted the food to be made, but I was making the food. It was a clusterfuck. So you can already imagine You can already imagine I'm pretty pissed off.
Oh, the Chiefs are playing the Chargers. Sorry.
I
am literally proving my own point.
So I bring over the stuff over there, and we slowed down for a bit, so I think I went to go get a drink from, the vending machine or whatever. I'm literally leaning against, the little side thing, whatever. And she has one of the coworkers come up to me and she says that, because I'm not going to mention names, she said that if you lean against something like that, you're going to end up getting fired. And once again, I'm like, it hasn't even been an hour and I'm already pissed off.
Do you want to hear the part of it that surprises me there?
What?
You have fucking vending machines?
It's not exactly a vending machine. I'd rather use the term Coke machine because we're a Coca-Cola based company, so.
Same. So, it's just the old-fashioned kind.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say I get free drinks galore at work.
Oh, I get them all the time, but like that was just an ongoing thing where it's like,
Yeah, like
shit
at
like
least every 2 hours I get a drink while at work, and I work usually. Oh my god! Speaking of work, I just realized I have to go in at 2 o'clock tomorrow. I'm gonna want to fucking Kurt Cobain myself.
again. And also, that's another thing too. Waking up and realizing that, oh, today's gonna be a good day. Oh shit, I got work. It pisses me off every single time. Every single time. Like, cause one day I'll be like, oh hey, like this movie's airing in theaters. I'm gonna go watch a movie. Like I'm going to a church like
I
event with
always
my
tell
church
you
group,
this.
right? Oh, I gotta work.
Right. I always tell you this. One thing that surprises people that know me in person is that, like, I am a huge fan of bowling. Like, I don't get why people are surprised when I say it, but, like, to
How
each
dare
their own.
you like bowling? How dare you, sir?
Exactly. How dare I like something that's actually competitive, actually fun, and actually takes fucking skill rather than deflating footballs or sucking dick in the back. Yeah, we're looking at you, Jake Paul. Um, anyways. But yeah, like, literally, I used to go bowling at one point I was going literally every other 2 weeks. So, like, or yeah, every other 2 weeks, every month. Like, it was a monthly thing with my friends, and then we started getting more understaffed because, again, people are going back to school, and now it's like and this bothers me. The standard is, and it's not because of the place I work, it's because of the pay, like, just how expensive shit is getting. I'm going back on the list.
Right.
Like, it's either you pay me a crazy absurd amount, like more than people who work in big time jobs. Like, I can tell you this. There are some people that can go work at fucking McDonald's near the city of Pittsburgh and get paid more than my mother, who's a fucking paramedic.
Doesn't make any fucking sense right there. Oh
Like,
my
you're
god.
telling me the source of fatty num-nums clogging your arteries gets paid more than the people who save your life, whenever the people who get paid more than you fill your arteries with the fucking grease and all of that of
I
fast food.
guarantee you that they would make the argument that people that work at McDonald's are loving it more than like, being in the emergency room. I guarantee it.
Right.
But so like even after that, I was just thinking to myself like she really pissed me off. And I barely talked to anyone else that night. And they knew I was pissed. And you wanna know how fucked up it is knowing that like, oh, if people say that, oh, you're not one to get pissed a whole lot, either they don't know me that well or I don't show it that well. Which I think the second one is the better thing to do if you're working a job because you gotta have patience in your job. If you don't have any patience whatsoever, if you just lash out at everything, you're honestly gonna make life a living hell for yourself.
Okay. I'm going to say this on stream, and it'll probably be or not even probably, it more than likely will be controversial. Working with somebody autistic has tested my patience on a inhumane level. Like, you, like, off stream, you know how many times I have told you I have wanted to rip whatever hair I have left in my skull out of my head. How many times I was saying a month and a fucking half.
Yeah.
And, like, how many times I've said I've wanted to punch him, I have wanted to scream at him, I have wanted to get him fired. But I don't because I keep my patience.
Mhm. Because like honestly, it's not really up to us to decide like, oh, this person needs to be fired. It's up to the managers.
Exactly.
And
Which, like, even that point, I'll say this confidently. I think the only reason they haven't fired him is because A, the manager is friends with, and I think the owner are friends with his mom, and B, he's autistic. It'll look bad on the company, so they're just waiting for him to quit. And C, we kind of can't because again we're understaffed. But
exactly.
like if it was if I had to say like my point in this, the only reason they haven't fired him is because we don't have enough people to take his spot. Just me alone, I am already working 2 positions. On Saturday, I had to work 2 fucking positions at once because my friend called off, which I'm not pissed at them for that. Like, trust me, do what you need to do. But, shit, sorry, I'm, like, still looking at shit while talking. Now I lost my point. So, yeah, so she called off, and I had to work 2 positions. And I'm sitting there working those 2 positions, and like it's stressful. Not even the part of working
Oh,
the 2
absolutely,
positions.
100%.
Like I was. Like, people will learn this about me very quickly when they meet me. I am a workaholic beyond recognition. Like some people would look at me and they'd say like, "Oh, you're a workaholic. You're 5'9" and 131 pounds. What the fuck can you do?" I can make sure half of a fucking kitchen operates.
Imagine
Like,
doing that.
yeah, like whenever the managers ain't there, I'm not a manager. I've been there 6 months, but I step the fuck up and I tell people what to do.
Because, like,
Like,
what really can you do? You can't just let them
especially on
sit
the
there and do
dish,
nothing.
especially on the dishwasher side. Like, as much as working with somebody autistic, because like I'll throw this out there as well. It's either like there's only 3 dishwashers now. I think they the one guy that would work the mornings quit because like he just couldn't make the scheduling work. So it's myself, excuse me, hiccups. A guy who I believe is in his mid 50s, maybe early 60s, and then the autistic one. I mainly work with the autistic one because he's younger, all that stuff, and then the older guy comes in when he's needed, like in the evenings. He mainly works mornings.
Right.
Literally with the autistic, like with I'll show you the difference between working with him and working with the older guy. With the older guy, here's what, do you want to hear what we always say to each other throughout the night?
What?
Hey, I'm going on break. Hey, I'm going up front to take the utensils out. Hey, I'm going to use the restroom. Or like, hey, I'm going to order my
Just a
dinner.
respect thing.
No, it's not even respect. It's just we're there to do a job. We get our job done. I only talk to people whenever I'm done with my work. Like if I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs and there's nothing to do, I will talk to people. If they're standing near me while I'm working and I have enough free range to talk and work, then I will do that. But if I don't have a free hand, then like if people want to take it as disrespect for me ignoring them, tough shit. Like that's how the other coworker, which I get to him now, sees it. Like if I'm sitting there working, so let's just say, like I'm gonna put this into perspective. I can maybe fill about a dozen dishes into one rack, right?
Right.
I have 2 rackfuls on one side that are already washed, and then I have one being filled. So my other coworker, the autistic one, comes up to me, and he's trying to talk to me. I just stay quiet, and I show every sign that like, hey, I'm working, leave me alone. Because I get it, I should tell him, but that is just not me. I am unless I'm talking to you like how I am right now, on a, on a PlayStation or a phone, iPad, like, if I cannot see your face, I am going off of body language. Because my social cues with vocal language is so fucking bad. I literally thought one of my friends was gay for me because my social cue was that fucking bad. Like, I swear to God.
Wow.
And then, so like I sit there and I'm working. Like, I'm literally moving shit around, showing him like, hey, I'm fucking working, leave me alone. He's like, and again, I don't like using my actual name because it's not a matter of like, oh, personal information, fuck off, I just hate my name. It's like, Hunter, hello, like pretty much just trying to get my attention. And I'm sitting there and I'm like ignoring him. Then I just go, I'm busy, Brian, I'm busy. And unlike you, I don't give a fuck about name dropping.
You can go right ahead.
So Brian goes like, and this is one thing he does that irritates literally everybody in the fucking kitchen. If you so even like So, Landon, say my name like 5 times. I'll say I'm working, okay?
What, your real name?
Either or.
Okay. Hunter, 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 Hunter.
I'm working. And then, do you want to hear what I'm hearing for the next 5 minutes?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are we still friends? You're not mad at me, are you? I'm not making you mad, am I?
I hate
And then
people who do that.
I'm sitting there like resisting the urge to break my hand off of the fucking brick wall in front of me.
Oh my god.
And that's where the matter of like we go back to patience. Like I have lost and gained so much patience
I can say
over the
that's
last
accurate.
6 months. It is disgusting.
That's pretty fucking accurate, I won't lie. But, like, where the fuck was it? Okay, so that night, that fucking night, like, that whole thing was like, okay, I'm pissed off that she had the audacity to say that to me. Because that shit, like, it doesn't fly with me. Like, if you yell at me for no fucking reason, I'm not gonna be cool with you. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
That goes into anybody. That goes into family. That goes into friends. That goes into everyone. I treat everyone the same that I see fit. And like, yeah, do I like what's the word? Do I give my family a pass for that? Yeah, absolutely. But a coworker, I'm not gonna give a pass to. Even if she's my manager, I'm still not gonna give you a pass for that.
Right.
So, I think like an hour later, like I think before I left, she apologized for yelling at me because she probably knew I was pissed off. But still, it still infuriated me because, I mean, what really was the reason to do that, you know?
What was the reason, bitch? What was the reason?
So I went home. I'm pissed off, like really pissed off. But my mom got me some like chicken. I watched some SmackDown clips and I watched Punts Return. I'm like, much better. And then then came the Wednesday schedule thing. Now, I said on my on my first interview, I said I cannot work Wednesdays and I prefer to not work Sundays. I'm fine with closing on Sundays, but I can't work Sunday morning. They're like, okay, we can work around that. Because at the time, keep this in mind, around this time, they still have capable workers. Like, they've had, like, this was their biggest roster of workers possible.
Right.
People that they can depend on. But no, we can't give me a single Wednesday off, right? Because why not? Fuck them, right?
Yeah. Fuck him. Fuck him in the ass.
So
What?
then, I asked her, I was like, listen, okay, I get if you need workers, but like you got a bunch of people that can come in. I just want you to keep that in mind. I was respectful about it. I wasn't cursing her out. I wasn't like being a dickhead about it. I was just outright saying, listen, you have people that can come in here. You're just choosing not to put them in. And you're relying on me, which will be an ongoing theme, which I'll get into. This was one of the worst situations I've ever been in when it came to work, and I truly never forgave myself for this until I got a girlfriend. So you people,
Listen.
like people whoever's listening to this, you're gonna see this as like, oh, he's being over dramatic by this. And hell, I'm an over dramatic person. Let me tell you, I definitely can be. So there's nothing shocking about this whatsoever. But I want you to put this into perspective. If a family that you really truly care for is leaving you, or like leaving your side, and they're not coming back, and you've developed a really personal good connection with them, and all of a sudden they leave one day and you want to say like, your proper goodbye and whatever, right? Are you like, what's
You
the
want to
word?
call him a bitch?
Shit, I lost. But are you going to want to say your like final goodbyes to them before they officially leave? Like if you're
Yeah.
really close with them, like really close. I try to get people to cover my shift. People that need the hours, because that's always been an ongoing trend. People need hours, but they don't want to come into fucking work. I've asked people to cover my shift. they did not want to, so instead I had to go in there feeling just fucking deflated, like utterly depressed about it. But it was just one of those things where like they interfere at the worst possible times in my life, the worst possible times, and
Right.
that's what fucking getting a job has done to my life. Then from there, there'd be times where like people would ask me to cover a shift. Like one of my best friends, he asked me to cover a shift on my fucking birthday.
I would have said fuck no.
Now, my mindset at the time was, I don't think I'm doing anything for my birthday, so like, and I do need the hours, so I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'll come into work on my birthday, why not? Because I didn't think we're doing anything, right? Turns out we were doing something, so I had to cancel at last minute, but thankfully he found a way out of it. But it's just one of those things where like work gets in the way of everything. Everything.
How you got with the podcast?
No, we're still going.
Oh, okay.
But then, like even from there, it was like the matter of there would be times where like, you know, they would ask me to come in. They would ask me to like pull a double. They would ask me to like help come in and close. And it was fucking irritating because I couldn't do anything in my personal life without getting my phone blown up or without being bothered by somebody. Like it just genuinely seemed like, hey, they only wanted me to come into work just for the sake of like, oh, they needed someone else instead of like, oh, maybe he's actually busy. Maybe we should just not call him. They don't take
What
that
I
into
always tell
consideration.
people, what I always tell people whenever they have that kind of issue where it's like, oh, my job calls me and I already agreed to do something, just tell them you have like something you can't back out of, and if they ask what, you can literally tell them I cannot disclose that info. Like, say like for example, let's just say like, oh, I agreed to go out of state so I could go to a friend's party. Like I go to Ohio or something like that, or like I go to fucking New York. Like just two random states near me, just to like throw you off. And then my work calls me, and it's my boss, like or one of my managers. Answer. I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're like, hey, so and so called off. Can you come in? Oh, sorry, I'm doing
Heard
something.
that
Like
so many times.
I already have preset obligations that I cannot pull out of. Oh, what are you doing? Like, what is that pre-agreed on? What's called obligation? Well, I cannot. I'm not legally obligated to tell you. Like, you can literally tell them I am not obligated to tell you what
Well,
that
that's
information
on
is. That
me.
is my personal information.
That is 100% on me because I should have told them
Like
exactly that.
that. That's how I am as a worker. Like whenever like so one thing I don't like to talk in depth about is my mental health because that is my business and my business only. For other people that want to know a lot about that want to know about it, that is for my information to know and theirs to be curious about. They will not know what it is until I'm either comfortable with sharing it to them or until I just blurt it out in a mental breakdown. Because we already know a mental breakdown at work is imminent. Um, so my coworker on what was it? Sunday. Because that was like Sunday is a matter of 9/11, but that's just a really bad day for me after we got to a certain point of working. So my manager was like, "So were you good today? You seemed like off." And I'll be like, "I'll be honest, I'm fucking miserable." And like they're like, "How come if you don't mind asking?" I'm like, "Well, it's a lot to go in depth on. That's just like my information to know." But before that, my coworker like was pushing it. Like I was about to turn around and right hook him, push it, because
Right.
he was like, "Is something bothering you?" And I'm like, "I'll be honest, Brian. There's a lot bothering me. Like the whole fucking even the microscopic things in the world are bothering me." And he's like, well, what's bothering you? And I'm like, that's my business to know and yours to ponder. That's what I always tell him. If I don't want to tell him, it's my business to know and yours to ponder. It's not too hard to understand. Even the people with no, you could extract somebody's brain, and they could understand. Okay, that's his business to know, mine to ponder. He does not want to tell you so or tell me, so I'm not gonna push it. But then you go, and like, I said it loud enough to where you could hear me because you want to know how? My coworker about 10, 15 feet away from me could hear me. So he goes, what? And I'm like, that's my, and I start saying it louder because I'm like, this dude can
Making your
hear
point come
me.
across.
I know it. Yeah, like, that is my business. Then, like, then I start times a little louder. But here's how you know I'm off, is whenever I actually start talking quieter. Like, whenever I'm getting quiet, that's whenever it's like, okay, back the fuck off, because I'm either about to yell at you or I'm going to fucking, like, sock you in the face. So, I go 2 more times. I'm like, it's my business to know, yours to ponder. Huh? It's my business to know and yours to ponder. Huh? It's my business to know and yours to ponder. Huh? It's my business to know and yours to ponder. And then he finally, like, quote, heard me, and then blamed it on our fan. But here's the thing, I have fucking hearing issues, and I have an earbud in blasting heavy metal music in my right eardrum, with my left eardrum, the worst one, being exposed, and I still hear everybody in the fucking kitchen. So, like,
He was just
for
trying to
him to
fuck with
say
you,
he
yeah.
can't, or at least that's what I think. So he starts asking more. It's like, oh, what's upsetting you? What's upsetting you? And I'm like, a lot of fucking things, Brian. And then this is where I was imagining turning around and punching him, and I had to resist the urge because he had the fucking gall after I told him at least eight or 9 times, like, hey, this is my business, not yours. Back off. Like, he goes, oh, I hope you're not mad at me. Okay, you selfish fuck.
It's crazy. Man, and like, I'll get into that as well, but like a couple months go by, nothing really is going on. I was offered a position to go to Domino's because one
Right.
of my close friends at the time was working there,
Dominaze.
and she had a bunch of friends there too that I was close with, and she really thought it would be a good decision for me to do that because I was mentally burnt out on the place I was working at.
Right.
I really just couldn't take it that much anymore. I wanted to do something different because this is what would happen. Oh, someone calls out, now I have to fucking close. Go into fucking
I
close.
always have to close.
And I want you to take this into consideration. This is 100% me, and this is 100% my fault, but I want you to take this into consideration. The start of this year, and I'll disclose this information on here because fuck it, why not? The start of the year, I had a fucking car wreck. But I want you to understand this. I had been up from 8 a.m. that morning, and I was scheduled to close. I didn't get out till like fucking 11. So I want you to take this with what you will. Me getting a car wreck, like, it had nothing to do with that. But if I was so tired to the point where I couldn't keep my eyes open behind that wheel, who's really to blame? Is it them for scheduling me to close in the first place, or is it me?
I mean, do you want the honest answer, or...
We're all for honesty here.
I mean, it's kind of both. Like, for your negligence of saying I can drive home when clearly exhausted, self-admittedly, and their fault for scheduling you longer than what, you could take.
Well,
Because
that's just in.
at that point, you might as well just ask somebody, hey, can you follow me home? Or if it's, somebody who's riding with multiple people, say, friends or relationships, siblings, just any sort of conversation, combination where they can ride with one another, just say like, hey, can one of you drive my car and me home, and then the other picks the person driving me up and then go. I don't think I'm fit to drive. That, or even just call your parents. Just be like, hey, like I can't drive home. I'm exhausted. I don't want to
Well,
crash. But
that's
again,
that's really the issue at
too
play,
late.
because if I did say that, they wouldn't have done it. They would have told me like, hey, go to like a gas station, get like a Monster, drink it, and you'll be okay. Because that they've done that before in the past. Whenever I was scared to drive because I was so tired. It's an
Right.
ongoing thing. But the worst part about the whole, like, well, first things first. Before I get into that, I just want to give this other example. So somewhere along the line, I went to our fair, like our county
Right.
fair, riding rides and whatever.
Also, TMI, I'm just throwing this out there in a minute. I am going to run to the restroom because low-key about to shit my pants.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like I'm at my fair, okay, with like one of my good friends at the time, and I'm
Right.
also like, I met up with other people who I thought were my friends. Turned out they really weren't, but we're not there to bury them. So I'm at the fair, and I
Using
notice one of my
wrestling
co.
terms.
What's that?
I said imagine using wrestling terms, and I said just kidding.
Okay, so I'm there, and I see one of my coworkers with another one of my coworkers. Now, I want you to put this into the most perspective that you can,
Oh yeah.
like in the best perspective you can. The way that they act at work was so suspicious. Like the way that they act,
Okay.
like,
Real quick, Landon.
yes, go
I'm
right
not gonna
ahead.
lie. I'm actually about to shit my pants. I'll be right back.
You go right ahead. TJ, you still there? Did we bore you to death?
Uh,
Did we bore you to death?
no.
Okay. What about you, Jonathan? Are we making you half asleep? I'll take that as a yes. TJ, what do you think of the story so far?
Pretty gay.
Honestly. Uh, I'll just go ahead and like, I don't know. I don't know what to do for the time being because I want Alex to be here for the story, but I don't know if I should because he's probably gotta take a while this shit. So, what you think about wrestling, bro?
Uh,
Or
eh.
scratch wrestling? What do you think about the dream stuff?
I like how people are like saying like, "Oh, he's a snitch, bro. He's a snitch," even though like he will probably do the same thing if somebody, if you know that you didn't do what you did,
Yeah,
and someone is lying. So, anyways,
yeah, it sounds about right. But like, it's also the matter of why would people, you know, even remotely have an issue with the fact that he defended himself? Oh, because oh man.
because they're not using their logical brains. If he actually did what he did, he would not be on social media right now.
Yep.
Anyway,
I'm looking at this pro wrestling syndicate stuff, trying to figure out what's going on. Hopefully, everyone, what, maybe like 2 people that tuned in, maybe you're still with us, hopefully. What up? Oh, I'm still on air, okay. Probably gonna need to cut this out. Because I'm making like a fully edited video, TJ, so
yeehaw, brother, yeehaw.
I don't know how to, what's the word? I don't know how to, like, fuck, I'm trying to think. I don't know how to upload like podcast wise, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to like upload podcast wise, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Wow, everyone's leaving Pro Wrestling Syndicate. It's so crazy. Oh man. Yeah, eat away.
I will. I will. I will.
Oh man. Should I like go ahead and end the stream and then restart it when Alex gets here?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would be like the best editing wise?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Hopefully it saves on my channel.